Hey everyone. I haven't done one of these for a little while, so I recently put my Book of Boba Fett belt up on Instagram and on Etsy, and I've been getting a lot of questions about it. So I figured I'd take time today to go over it and kind of show some of the ways that I designed this. First of all, this stuff could change at any time, especially with the show rapidly approaching. But I had so many people requesting this belt before the show came out, and there were such great um, reference pics in the trailer that released for the Book of Boba Fett. So I just decided to go ahead and get it done. And plus, Trawick Designs, which of course I always use Chad with Trawick Designs, all his 3D models. He had already done the gun and the cylinders, so that was half of the battle right there of getting this belt done. So anyway, I'm going to go over a little bit here. So if you look at his belt from season 2 of The Mandalorian, and then look at this one that's going to be in the Book of Boba Fett, at first glance, it looks, oh, okay, it looks similar way except for the cylinders. But then when you start really looking at it and digging into it, it's really not. It's it's basically a whole brand new belt. Um, so I didn't realize that either when I first started digging into this, and then when I started looking at the pictures, I was like, wow, this is just completely different. So I guess we'll start with the buckle. First of all, the buckle. It does have some similarities. It has the suns, or I guess the round dots, and then it has these two little things along with the swoosh. But that's pretty much where all the similarities end between season 2 of The Mandalorian and this one. Um, Everything's different. Like all of these, even though at first glance they look the same, they're kind of adjusted in the same spots, but the dots look completely different. The swooshes look different. Even these two little emblems up here are completely different. And this one has this pop out side here where the belt is attached, and the one for on season 2 of The Mandalorian didn't have that. So first and foremost, with most of my stuff, I wanted the buckle to be functional. Now I do 3D print these, but with as thick as they are, and the fact that there's not really any strain on the 3D printed piece, it's all on metal rods or screws. You shouldn't have to worry about this breaking. And of course, I designed it that way. But it is functional, so the way that it attaches, and it's not going to come open unless you want it to, is a magnet, or two magnets actually. These are large 23 millimeter magnets. There's one there, and then one on the back side of here. And then as you can see, the other side of the belt is attached with 3 screws. So again, there's never really any tension on the 3D printed piece. It's all on metal, so you don't have to worry about this breaking. And if you look at the belt, it's actually pretty thick anyway. It shouldn't break. With this piece, besides the magnet that attaches, the belt loops around, and there's also a metal rod going through the back side of this. So again, everything that I make, I just make sure it's durable, and make sure that you can use it for however long you want to cosplay this character. Now, once you open this, you can kind of see the way that I have no idea how his belt attaches or opens or any of that type of stuff in the show. Most of the shows, we never end up seeing it. So what I ended up doing was 2 layers, actually in some spots 3 layers. But there's like a cummerbund type belt under here where the Velcro's shut, and of course you've got a big gap in here for adjustment. So I send measuring instructions whenever I sell one of these on Etsy, and as you can see, I give a good amount of room for either gaining weight or losing weight, or just adjustment. So once that overlaps, get on this side. This belt actually pulls around and loops through behind these two pockets. So you have adjustment here too. So not only does it adjust on that back belt, this top belt also adjusts. And then, of course, that just wraps there. And if you hear the click, those magnets, it's not going to come open unless you want it to come open. Besides these pouches hiding that back strap, they're also functional. So you can put whatever you want in there, keys, ID, credit card, whatever. That way, if you're at a con, you don't have to carry around your personal items. You can just throw them in those two pockets. Of course, there is only two pockets on this belt, but that's really all you have room for. As you see, as I flip this around, this belt is pretty much completely taken up. In fact, I'll flip it around here. For the holster, it was different from the one in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. The one in Season 2, it was just basically a pouch, just a plain pouch that the blaster just slides down in. There was nothing fancy about it whatsoever. This one, they decided to get a little more fancier and actually make it a molded holster, which of course I duplicated. Now, I told you that there might be a few details that I have to change after the show comes out. One thing that I never really saw crisply was the way that the leg strap attached. It looks like in a couple of the fight scenes that there's gold rivets or snaps on the back side of the belt, and since the one in Season 2 actually used a buckle back here, I think they just replaced the buckle with snaps. But of course, it's hard to tell. I went frame by frame, did my best of trying to make it duplicate it, what it looks like, but you never know when the show comes out. It might be something different. I have to change that. But other than that, everything else should be dead on. Of course, the cylinders, like I said, you can get those from Trewick Designs. There's 15. 20. There's 20 cylinders. I believe it's 15 of the small ones, 5 of the large ones, and of course, like I said, you can get those from Trewick Designs. Now, one thing that, as with any of my stuff, these belts are custom made per the customer's measurements. So somebody that ends up being smaller than this, I think this belt was made for a 42-inch waist, which should be about average once you get the girth belt and different stuff that he has on underneath the belt. But if you end up being smaller than that, I might have to, either leave out a cylinder or might have to make this spot in the back shorter, or if you end up being larger, then, some of this stuff might be spread out more. But, that's just what comes along with it. But again, I make these specific for every customer. So I'll literally set up my mannequin for each customer and set it all up, which of course is also why this is a costly belt, because I do have to take that time with every single customer to make sure the belt looks right. But as far as the holster, these two rivets here are screw rivets, so they can actually be unscrewed and this whole holster removed if need be. That's Trewick Designs blaster, by the way. Freaking love that. But this is two reasons. One, that's the way I had to do it because of the way it is in the show. There's an indentation going in the belt here that this sits in, and it would have been really hard to sew that in while sewing on all the loops and everything. So I really needed to make it to where this could be removed easily and also put on easily. So anyway, so that's that. And then for the very back, so looking at freezed screenshots of the trailer, he has this gap in the back between the two cylinders, but it also looks like there's more layers right here. So I don't know if for the show they did some type of connection back here and it actually doesn't connect in the front, connects in the back. I have no idea, but I did duplicate that. So in this back little section here, there's actually 3 layers instead of the 2 that are on the side and the front. So the back actually has more layers. And then these, what I call them, are they remind me of Bo-Katan's side buckles. So I just refer to these as side buckles, even though they're kind of in the back a little bit. But these side buckles, I actually had to model and print these, and so I don't know if they machined something special for the show or what, but I couldn't find anything official or anything that they just used. So I think they did make these special, and again, they do look like the Bo-Katan side buckles that she uses for her belt. But if you look at the shots, the way I duplicated it, it looks like the leather is going through one side, and the other side is the only side with a loop. And it's duplicating it on both sides. The leather's coming in, and then it has that loop there. So that's what I did. These are actually the squares that I print. The way these are printed, they actually close in, and then screws are put through the side. So the side with that slider buckle sticking out, it's sandwiched in there, and then the other side that the leather goes into, it's also sandwiched in there with screws going through both sides. So this isn't going to come apart, and it's sturdy as hell. And then it's also got a screw through the middle, and that's how it's attached to the belt. So those turn out really well, and they look just like they do in the show. So, but again, more cylinders there going all the way around the side here. And now one thing that to me most people get wrong when they're making this kind of stuff is scale. It's always hard to get the scale on this stuff right. What me and Chad ended up doing, Treywood Designs, as far as making sure that the buckle and the cylinders and everything were to scale, is the one thing we knew the scale of was the blaster, because the blaster is actually based on a real gun. I'm not going to tell you which one, you have to do your own research, but it's based on a real gun, so we knew this was accurate. Well, once we knew this was accurate, we could turn around and go from the holster and kind of start building our way up. We also know the height of the actor and the weight, guesstimation. A lot of that stuff you can find on Google and bios and stuff. But so we knew about what he was and what we needed to make everything. Another thing is there's several scenes where he's holding his helmet and the blaster, and you can tell, like, you can just take a clip of his finger, and of course he's wearing gloves, so you have to, add that extra little bit of girth. But once you do that, you can start gauging how big everything is, and get within a pretty good, roundabout guesstimation. So that's how we ended up figuring out what the scale of the buckle was and the belt, and from there I just built everything else, pouches, and Chad doing the cylinders and stuff. So, but anyway, this belt turned out great. I'm really excited to start offering it because, like I said, I've had a lot of people ask me about it. This is currently in my Etsy shop, and Chad, Treywood Designs, he does have an Etsy shop, but prefer you to go to his website, just TreywoodDesigns.com, and you can get the cylinders and the blaster. Of course, I'm just going to be selling the belt, so my belt will not come with the blaster or cylinders. But those are just fun little projects that you can do to add to your belt. But anyway, that's the Book of Boba Fett belt. Kind of the functions and the way it looks. As always, feel free to ask me any questions down in the comment section, or send me an email, or message me on Instagram or Etsy. So, but anyway, guys, I appreciate you coming and looking.